The night was quiet on the human colony at the edge of the stars. Only the wind moved through the empty streets, carrying the smell of dust and iron. Inside a small metal cabin, a young human man named Ryan sat alone with his old guitar. He turned on a speaker and played a song filled with heavy drums and screaming guitars. It was hard rock, loud and alive, shaking the walls with power, far away in the shadows. An alien girl walked slowly across the colony ground. Her skin glowed faintly under the moons. Her eyes bright but filled with worry. Her people had always warned her about humans. They told stories that humans made terrible sounds that could crush the mind. They called it the death noise. When she heard the first echo of Ryan's music, her heart jumped in terror. The ground seemed to vibrate, and her sharp ears caught every painful note. She believed she was under attack. Her legs trembled, but something pulled her closer. The sound was frightening, but it was also strange. It did not kill her, though her people always said it would. She hid behind a broken wall, clutching her hands over her ears. Her chest raced as she whispered, "Why would the human unleash such a weapon?" Inside the cabin, Ryan closed his eyes and smiled as he played. To him, the music was freedom. A fire in his soul, he strummed harder, his voice shouting with the song. He had no idea that someone was watching. He had no idea that the alien girl was shaking in fear just outside his door. The girl could not take it anymore. She thought she must warn others, but when she tried to turn away, the sound grew louder. The door of the cabin opened with a sharp creak. Ryan stepped outside with the guitar still hanging from his neck. He saw her standing there, frozen in the pale light, her eyes wide, her ears bent back, her whole body shaking. Ryan was surprised. He had never seen one of her kind so close. Her silver blue skin shined under the moon, her clothes thin and torn as if she had run far. He took a step forward, but she raised her hands, begging him to stop. "Please," she cried, her voice trembling. "Do not destroy me with your sound." Ryan frowned, confused. He lowered his guitar and turned off the speaker. The sudden silence filled the air, heavy and deep. "What are you talking about?" he asked softly. The girl blinked, her chest still rising and falling fast. "You carry the death noise," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "My people fear it. They say it burns the mind and kills the spirit." Ryan stared at her, shocked. He had never heard anyone call music a weapon. He wanted to laugh, but the fear in her eyes stopped him. She truly believed every word she spoke. Her hands still covered her ears as if the sound lingered in the air. For her, the danger was real. He sighed and placed the guitar gently on the wall. "It is not a weapon," he said slowly. "It is called music. It is how humans share feelings." But the alien girl shook her head, tears forming at the edge of her glowing eyes. "I felt it strike me. I thought my heart would break," she whispered. Ryan felt a strange mix of pity and curiosity. He stepped back to give her space. "Listen," he said gently. "I will not play unless you want me to." The girl lowered her hands slightly. Her ears twitched as she realized the silence did not hurt her. For the first time, she breathed slowly, her fear calming just a little, but deep inside, she still wondered if he was lying. Maybe this was a trap. Maybe the human would strike again with his noise. Ryan could see she did not trust him, but he also saw something else in her eyes: curiosity. She wanted to understand, even if she was afraid. He crossed his arms and leaned against the wall. "You do not have to believe me now," he said. "But maybe one day you will hear the truth in the music." The alien girl turned her head. Staring at the silent guitar, her heart still raced. But a strange thought crept into her mind. If this death noise was truly a weapon, why did the human smile when he played it? Why did he look alive, not cruel? The fear remained, but another feeling began to grow. A question she could not push away. She stepped back into the shadows, still watching him. Ryan gave her a small nod, then returned inside. The cabin lights dimmed, but the girl stayed outside. Staring at the door, she whispered to herself, "Humans are dangerous, yet different." The sound she feared had not destroyed her. Instead, Petite had planted something new inside her heart's suspense and curiosity that she could not escape. The next morning came with a pale red sky over the colony. Ryan woke early, the echoes of last night's music still warm in his chest. But in his mind, he kept seeing the alien girl's frightened face, her wide glowing eyes, her trembling hands pressed to her ears. He could not forget the way she called his music a weapon. He stepped outside, hoping to see her again. The dusty ground stretched silent and empty, but he noticed soft footprints near his cabin. Smaller than his own, she had been here, watching, listening, maybe even waiting. Ryan sighed and picked up his guitar, carrying it gently this time, not far away. The alien girl stood hidden among broken machines. Her name was Lyra. And her heart still beat fast from the night before. She had not slept, her mind filled with confusion. Her people always told her the death noise could shatter souls. Yet she was still alive, though she had heard it with her own ears. She whispered to herself, "Why is this human different?" When Ryan strummed softly, the sound floated like a river through the air. It was not loud, not heavy, just soft strings humming with warmth. Lyra's ears twitched, expecting pain, but none came. Her fear pulled her back. But her curiosity pushed her forward. Step by step, she moved out of the shadows. Ryan noticed her right away. He smiled carefully. "Not wanting to scare her, you came back," he said softly. His voice was calm, not sharp like the music she feared. Lyra froze, ready to run, but something in his tone held her still. "I had to know," she whispered, her voice shaking. Her eyes darted to the guitar, glowing faintly in the sunlight. "That weapon. Why did it not destroy me last night?" Ryan laughed gently, though not in a cruel way. "It is not a weapon," he said. "It is music. Our way of sharing feelings." Lyra tilted her head, confused. "Feelings?" she asked. "What kind of weapon carries feelings?" Ryan shook his head, strumming a slow tune. The sound rose and fell like the wind. "Soft and kind. This is not for hurting," he explained. "This is for telling stories without words." Lyra hugged herself tightly, her sharp nails pressing into her skin. She wanted to run, but her eyes refused to look away. Her people would call her a fool, yet she had to listen. Every note carried something strange, not pain, not death, but warmth. "Do you feel it?" Ryan asked gently. Lyra frowned, unsure. "I feel strange," she whispered. "My chest feels heavy, but it does not hurt." Her words made Ryan smile. "That is what music does," he said. "It moves the heart." The girl's fear did not vanish, but it cracked like thin ice. She lowered her arms slowly, her ears no longer pressed tight, her glowing eyes softened. Though still wary, she stepped closer. Not much, just a single, careful step. Ryan's smile grew. "Knowing it was a small victory, your people told you lies," he said softly. "Maybe they never tried to listen." Lyra's lips trembled. "They said humans used the sound to break armies, to destroy minds." Ryan shook his head, strumming again. "No. We use it to give strength, to keep hope alive." Her body shook as another memory rose in her mind. She remembered the old stories of villages falling to thunder sound. She thought perhaps humans had once used music in battle, but now, standing before this single human, she felt doubt. Could it be that her people had only feared what they never understood? Ryan set the guitar aside and stepped back, showing empty hands. "I will not force it on you," he promised. "But if you stay, Kay can show you the truth." Lyra's breath quickened. Torn between fear and need, every part of her screamed to leave. yet her feet would not move. She lowered her gaze, whispering, "If I stay and you play again, will it kill me?" Ryan shook his head firmly. "No, it will not kill you," he said. "But it may change you." His words struck her like lightning. Change was dangerous. But change was also what she secretly longed for. The silence stretched long between them, heavy as stone, finally. Lyra nodded once, sharp and small. "I will listen," she whispered, her voice like breaking glass. Ryan's heart leaped with relief. He picked up his guitar again, his fingers gentle. This time he played not hard rock, but a soft melody filled with light. Lyra closed her eyes, bracing for pain. But instead, she felt warmth spread through her chest. It was terrifying, yet strangely beautiful. Her lips parted as if she wanted to speak, but no words came. Tears touched her glowing eyes, falling softly. Ryan saw her trembling, but did not stop. The music wrapped around them both like a secret, and in that moment, something shifted. The girl who once believed the sound was death now stood listening, still afraid, but unable to walk away. The day grew warmer as the suns of the colony rose higher. Ryan sat on a rock outside his cabin, strumming his guitar softly. Each note carried into the air like whispers of fire. Across the dusty ground, Lyra stood stiff and silent, her glowing eyes fixed on him. She had promised to listen. But her heart still beat with fear. The strange sound did not burn her mind, as her people always warned. Instead, it stirred feelings she could not name. Her chest tightened, her throat grew heavy. But there was no pain. She asked herself if this was the beginning of madness. Or maybe it was something her people never dared to face. Ryan noticed her confusion. He lowered the guitar and smiled gently. "You are still afraid," he said. Lyra looked down, her sharp fingers digging into her arms. "Yes," she whispered, "but I do not understand why my fear has not killed me." Ryan tilted his head. "Because what you feel is not death," he explained. "It is emotion. Music touches the heart in ways words cannot." Lyra frowned, her ears twitching in doubt. "Emotion," she repeated softly, "we do not have such things in sound." He placed the guitar beside him and picked up a small metal box, pressing a button. Soft human voices filled the air. It was not hard rock this time, but a gentle song sung by many voices together. The alien girl froze, staring at the invisible sound floating all around. Her heart thumped, and she whispered, "So many. Are they spirits?" Ryan chuckled softly. "No, they are people, singing together." Lyra blinked rapidly, overwhelmed. She had never imagined sound could carry more than fear. She stepped closer, her bare feet leaving prints in the dust. "What are they saying?" she asked. Ryan translated the lyrics, words about hope and freedom. The alien girl's eyes widened as she listened. Her people spoke of survival and danger. "Never of hope," she whispered. "Your people use sound too." "Dream," Ryan nodded. "Yes, and to fight sadness, to share joy. To keep going when things feel impossible." Lyra's chest ached with something new. She pressed a hand against her skin as if to quiet her racing heart. "I feel as if something is alive inside me," she admitted, trembling. Ryan strummed the guitar again, this time softly but with rhythm. The sound made Lyra tilt her head. Her sharp ears caught each beat like drops of rain. Her feet shifted, tapping without her permission. She gasped and quickly pulled back, afraid. "What is happening to me?" she cried. Ryan smiled. "You are moving with the music," he explained. "It is called rhythm. Your body feels it even if your mind resists." Lyra shook her head, but she could not deny it. Her claws twitched again with the hidden beat. The alien girl stared at the guitar. "That thing," she said, "it controls me." Ryan laughed gently. "No, it does not control you. It frees you." His words echoed in her mind, louder than the music itself. She thought of her people, strict and fearful. They silenced every strange sound, never daring to let rhythm touch them. Perhaps they were afraid of losing control. Perhaps they knew this freedom could change everything, and change was always dangerous. Ryan leaned forward, his eyes kind. "Do you want to try?" he asked. Lyra froze, her glowing eyes wide. "Try." She repeated, confused. "Yes," Ryan said, holding the guitar out toward her. "Touch it, see for yourself." Her claws trembled as she reached. The wooden surface felt smooth, warm from the sun. Ryan guided her fingers over the strings. When she plucked one, a sharp sound rang out. She gasped and jumped back, her heart racing, but the sound faded quickly, leaving no harm. Her eyes widened in shock. "I made the noise," she whispered. Ryan nodded proudly. "Yes, you made music." Lyra's chest shook with breathless laughter. It was small and broken, but real. She had never laughed at sound before. Her people would call her cursed for touching such a thing, yet she could not stop herself from reaching again. Ryan played beside her, letting her pluck while he strummed. Together, the notes formed clumsy patterns. The alien girl tilted her head, listening to the strange mix. Her lips curved slightly. The hint of a smile, she whispered, "It is not death, it is." Alive for the first time, curiosity overpowered fear. Lyra wanted more, to hear harder sounds, sharper notes, faster rhythms. She lifted her glowing eyes toward Ryan. "Show me the dangerous one," she demanded softly. Ryan blinked in surprise. "You mean hard rock?" She nodded firmly, though her hands still shook. "I must know what it truly is." She said, "If it is death, let me face it. If it is life, let me understand it." Ryan studied her carefully. He saw not only fear, but courage, the kind that could break barriers slowly. He picked up the guitar and tightened the strings. The air grew heavy with suspense. Lyra braced herself, every muscle ready to flee. But her eyes never left him. Curiosity now burned brighter than her fear. Ryan strummed once, the hard sound. Crashing through the air like thunder, Lyra gasped, but she did not fall. Her heart pounded. But she stood her ground. Her claws tapped against her leg in time with the beat. And for the first time, she did not see a weapon. She saw a mystery, waiting to be solved. Asterisk, the sun dipped low over the colony as shadows stretched across the dust. Ryan sat on the steps of his cabin with the guitar resting on his lap. Lyra stood only a few feet away, her glowing eyes fixed on the instrument. Her chest rose and fell. Quickly, but this time it was not only fear. Something new had awakened inside her, and it refused to be silent. She remembered the crash of sound he played before, the thunder that shook the air, the beat that struck her chest. It had not killed her, though her people swore it would. Instead, it left her trembling with a strange rush of energy. Her claws tapped to the rhythm before she even realized it. Ryan noticed the small movement and smiled. "You are already feeling it," he said gently. Lyra flinched, pulling her claws back as if caught in a crime. "No," she whispered. "It controls me. It is dangerous." Ryan shook his head slowly, his eyes calm. "It does not control you. It speaks to you." Lyra frowned, her mind caught between fear and wonder. Her people warned her since childhood that humans were monsters, but this monster sat calmly, speaking with kindness. "And his weapon of sound carried not death, but life," she whispered. "Why would your kind make such a sound, if not to destroy?" Ryan leaned back, looking at the darkening sky. "Because life is not always gentle," he said. "Sometimes it is loud, wild, and angry, and music gives us a way to release it." His words struck Lyra like sparks against stone. Her people never spoke of anger, only silence. But here was a human saying even fury could be turned into something beautiful. Ryan strummed a heavy chord, the sound growling in the air. Lyra gasped. Her body tensed, but she did not run. Her claws gripped the fabric of her clothes as her heartbeat raced. Her ears bent back, but then twitched forward. Curious, it hurt. Yet it thrilled her. He played softer for a moment, then asked, "Do you want me to stop?" Lyra hesitated, her lips trembling. Part of her screamed yes, but another part begged no. Finally, she whispered, "Continue." Ryan's fingers moved faster. The guitar roared with wild energy. The beat thumped like a second heartbeat inside. Lyra's chest, she closed her eyes, waiting for the death her people promised. But instead, she felt her body moving, her claws tapping the ground, her chest filled with fire. Her fear twisted into something strange. It was still sharp, but now it carried a spark of joy. Her mouth opened as if she wanted to scream, but no. Words came. Her body shook with the rhythm, and tears welled in her glowing eyes. "This is not death," she gasped. "This is life." Ryan's smile widened. "You see now," he said over the music. "It is not a curse. It is freedom." Lyra shook her head wildly, her hair whipping with emotion. "I should hate this," she cried, "but I cannot stop feeling." The sound crashed harder, echoing across the colony walls for the first time. Lyra stepped closer instead of away, her glowing hands clenched, but not in terror. She wanted more, even though her heart pounded painfully. Her fear was breaking, piece by piece, under the weight of the music. Ryan slowed the rhythm and finally let the last note fade. Silence returned, heavy and deep. Lyra stood shaking, gasping. For breath, her whole body was alive, every nerve awake. She had never felt so frightened and so strong at the same time. Ryan lowered the guitar gently. "You survived," he said with a calm smile. Lyra's eyes widened. "I did not only survive," she whispered. "I changed." Her claws tapped nervously against her arm. "I cannot go back to silence." "Not after this," Ryan nodded slowly, understanding her words. "It is the beginning," he said. "The barrier of fear is the hardest to cross, but you broke it." Lyra stepped back. Holding her chest, "I feel as if I betrayed my people," she said softly, "but also as if I found a part of myself they never let me see." Ryan leaned forward, his voice steady. "You are not betraying them. You are discovering truth." Lyra's glowing eyes shone brighter in the fading light. Her lips curved slightly, almost into a smile. The first true smile she had ever given in the presence of sound, she whispered. "The noise I feared is not a weapon." Ryan nodded. "It is a song," he said. "And it belongs to anyone who dares to hear it." The alien girl looked at him long and deep. Her fear was still there, but beneath it burned something stronger. Curiosity had broken the wall of terror, and now there was no turning back. The night sky glowed with twin moons as the colony settled into silence. Ryan sat outside his cabin, his guitar resting beside him. The echoes of yesterday's music still rang faintly in his memory. But more than the music, he remembered the alien girl's eyes. The way fear and wonder had battled inside her. The way she whispered that she could not return to silence. He wondered if she would come back. Part of him doubted it, thinking maybe. She had run far away, but deep inside, he hoped she would return. Because something about her curiosity felt like a spark that could grow into fire. And fire always brought change from the edge of the shadows. Lyra appeared once more. Her steps were slow, cautious, but not as heavy with fear as before. Her glowing eyes scanned the ground, then lifted to Ryan. For the first time, she did not cover her ears. She stood bare to the night air. Breathing quickly but holding her ground. "You came back," Ryan said softly. His voice carried no surprise, only quiet relief. Lyra nodded, her sharp fingers twisting together nervously. "I Told myself not to, she admitted, but my heart. It would not let me stay away. Ryan's smile was gentle. Then maybe your heart knows something your people never understood. Lyra hesitated. Her chest rising and falling fast. Her people's warnings still screamed in her head. But her memory of the sound was stronger. It called to her like a river calls to the thirsty. I am not here for death, she whispered firmly. I am here to test if I can trust you. Ryan leaned forward. His eyes steady. Then let us begin, he said simply. He picked up his guitar, holding it carefully, as if it were a living thing. The girl tensed, her glowing eyes sharp, but she did not run. She waited. That alone was proof of her growing courage. Instead of rushing into heavy chords, Ryan began with a soft melody. The gentle sound filled the night, weaving through the still air. Lyra's chest tightened, but she did not step back. Her ears twitched to the rhythm, following it. Without meaning to, she whispered, "This one? It feels calm, like water." Ryan nodded. Exactly, this one is a song of peace. He played a little faster, letting the strings hum with life. The girl's claws tapped lightly against her arm. She noticed it and pulled back quickly, ashamed. Ryan caught the movement and smiled warmly. "Do not fight it," he said. "'Tis not control, it is connection." Her glowing eyes met his connection. She asked, unsure. "Yes," Ryan explained. "Music connects us without words. It tells the heart what the tongue cannot say." Lyra's lips trembled at the thought. Her people never spoke of connection, only survival. But here was something that spoke without speaking, and it reached her deeper than she wanted to admit. He shifted suddenly, his fingers striking harder chords. The heavy sound of rock burst into the air. Lyra flinched, her body stiffening, but she stayed, her claws gripping the edge of a broken wall for strength. The beat crashed like thunder, shaking the ground beneath her. Her chest thudded painfully. But she refused to fall. Her legs moved slightly, almost like steps to the rhythm. She gasped and pressed her hands against her sides. "Why does my body obey the sound?" she cried. Ryan's smile grew. "Because your body is alive. And life moves with rhythm," he answered. "It means you are listening with more than your ears." Her fear cracked further, replaced with something wild. Her lips parted, and a sharp sound escaped her throat. It was not a scream of terror, but a shout of release. The music carried her voice, blending with the guitar in raw energy. Ryan's eyes widened with surprise, but he kept playing. Together, human and alien made a sound that filled the empty night. When the final note faded, Lyra dropped to her knees, shaking, her claws pressed into the ground, her chest heaving. Ryan placed the guitar aside and stepped closer. "Are you hurt?" he asked, concerned. She lifted her head, and to his shock, she was smiling faintly. Her glowing eyes glistened with tears. "I am not hurt," she whispered. "I am alive." Ryan knelt beside her. "This is what trust feels like," he said. Softly, Lyra stared at him, the fear in her gaze melting into something new. She reached out, her sharp hand trembling. Her claws brushed against the wood of the guitar. Her voice was low, almost reverent. "Let me try again." Ryan placed the instrument in her hands carefully. Her claws tapped the strings, awkward but determined. The sound was messy, broken but real. Lyra laughed, a sharp, strange sound that startled even her. "I made it sing," she whispered in awe. Ryan nodded proudly. "Yes, and the more you trust it, the more it will sing for you for the first time." The alien girl did not see the guitar as a weapon. She saw it as a bridge between her world and his, a bridge made not of stone or steel, but of rhythm and sound. Her heart still trembled, but her spirit had taken its first true step forward. The test of trust was not finished, but it had begun, and she knew she would return again. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. The following night came with a strange quiet across the colony. Ryan lit a small fire outside his cabin, the flames dancing against the cool air. He tuned his guitar slowly, the strings humming with soft notes, each sound carried into the night. Waiting, inviting, he knew she would come, and he was not wrong. From the shadows, Lyra appeared once more. Her glowing skin shimmered faintly in the firelight. Her steps were no longer as hesitant as before. She walked closer, her glowing eyes fixed on the guitar. This time, she did not cover her ears. She stood tall, though her chest still rose and fell quickly. Ryan greeted her with a warm nod. "You came back again," he said softly. Lyra tilted her head, her voice steady but filled with tension. "My heart demands it," she admitted. "It does not let me stay away." Ryan smiled. "Then maybe your heart already knows the truth." Lyra sat on a rock near the fire, her claws tapping nervously against her knees. Her people would call her cursed for this, but she could no longer deny the pull of the sound. It was not death, not poison, not madness. It was something else, something she could not yet name. Ryan strummed a gentle melody first. The sound washed over her like a soft breeze. Her ears twitched, her eyes softened. It no longer hurt. It no longer made her flinch. Instead, it carried her into a place of calm. She whispered, "It feels safe." Ryan nodded. "Yes, this is music for peace," he explained. "Not every song is heavy. Some are light, some are full of hope." Lyra leaned closer, her glowing eyes fixed on the guitar. Her fear was fading, replaced with curiosity. Stronger than ever, he shifted suddenly, his fingers striking harder chords. The heavy rhythm of rock filled the air like thunder. The sound roared, wild and powerful. Lyra gasped, her claws digging into the rock beneath her. Her chest thudded painfully. But this time, she did not look away. Her legs moved on their own, her claws tapping in rhythm. She realized she was moving with the sound, not against it. Her mouth opened, and a sharp cry escaped her throat. It was not fear, it was release. She shouted into the night, her voice mixing with the guitar. Ryan watched her carefully, his smile wide. She was no longer fighting the sound. She was embracing it, letting it carry her. He pushed the rhythm faster, harder. The girl threw her head back, her glowing hair catching firelight. Her eyes glistened with tears, but her lips curved in two. A strange smile. "I should be afraid," she cried, her voice breaking, "but I am not." The music thundered on, shaking the air. Her claws beat against her knees, keeping time. Her body swayed as if the rhythm lived inside her. Ryan shouted over the sound, "This is not death. This is freedom." Lyra's heart raced, her spirit burning. She laughed a sharp, wild laugh that startled even her. "I feel alive," she shouted. More alive than ever before. The final chord crashed, then faded into silence. The fire crackled softly, filling the empty air. Lyra fell to her knees, gasping for breath, her claws pressed to her chest as if trying to hold in the fire. Tears rolled down her glowing cheeks, but her face carried a smile wider than any before. Ryan stepped closer, placing the guitar gently on the ground. "You have changed," he said softly. Lyra lifted her head, her glowing eyes shining with wonder. "I am not the same," she whispered. "The sound I hated has become the sound she shook her head slowly, amazed by her own words. "How can this be? How can fear become joy?" Ryan knelt beside her. "Because fear is only the beginning," he explained. "When you face it, when you open your heart, fear can transform." Lyra's lips trembled, her voice low and full of awe. "Then I have transformed," she whispered, "and I cannot go back." She reached for the guitar with trembling hands. Ryan placed it in her arms, guiding her fingers gently. This time, she did not shake with terror. She plucked a string, then another. The rough sound filled the air, imperfect but beautiful. Her glowing eyes widened with wonder. "I made it roar," she said, her voice trembling with joy. Ryan nodded proudly. "Yes, and it will roar louder when you are ready." Lyra hugged the instrument close, as if it were treasure. Her fear was gone, replaced with hunger for more. She looked at him with shining eyes. "Play with me," she demanded softly. Ryan smiled and picked up his own instrument. Together they struck the strings. The sound rose into the night. Wild, broken, alive, two worlds blending in music. Two souls beating in rhythm. And as the firelight flickered across her glowing face, the alien girl who once trembled in fear now laughed. Not with madness, not with terror, but with joy. She was no longer a prisoner of silence. She had stepped across the barrier, and the transformation was complete. The night was quiet, but the colony was not asleep. Whispers spread among the alien people, carrying stories of the girl who had gone near the human. They said she had touched the death noise and survived. Some called her cursed, some called her foolish. But curiosity burned in their voices, just as it once burned in hers. Lyra stood outside Ryan's cabin once again. The guitar rested in her hands, her claws no longer trembling. Her glowing eyes shone with confidence she had never known before. Ryan watched her carefully, smiling with pride. "You are ready," he said softly. Lyra nodded, her lips curving into a rare smile. The fire crackled as Ryan picked up his own guitar. He strummed a slow chord first, letting the sound rise gently. Lyra followed, her claws striking the strings. The first notes were rough, uneven, but strong. She laughed breathlessly, the sound of her joy mixing with the music. Then Ryan shifted into hard rock, the wild rhythm echoing through the colony. Lyra did not flinch this time. She rose to her feet, her body swaying. With the beat, her claws tapped the ground. Her head moved with the rhythm. Her laughter grew louder, full of fire. For the first time, she was not surviving the sound. She was living inside it. The music thundered, and her voice joined it. A sharp, raw cry that blended with the chords. Ryan's smile widened as he pushed the rhythm harder. Together, they created a storm of sound that shook the night. The colony walls echoed with the song. And in the distance, shadows gathered. Other aliens came, drawn by the strange noise. They stood in silence, watching from the dark, their glowing eyes filled with shock and fear. They whispered to one another, certain she would fall, certain the death noise would finally destroy her. But instead, they saw her laugh. They saw her dance, her glowing hair catching firelight as she moved. Her claws struck the guitar with wild rhythm. The sound roared, but she stood stronger than ever. Her voice rang out, not with fear, but with freedom. Ryan noticed the crowd, but did not stop. He wanted them to see. He wanted them to hear. This was not a weapon, not a curse. This was life, beating through every note. And Lyra was its proof. The aliens whispered in disbelief. "How is she alive?" One muttered, "Why does she not collapse?" Another asked. Their voices carried fear, but also something else, curiosity. The same seed that once bloomed in Lyra now touched them too. The song grew louder, more powerful. Lyra raised her head high, her glowing eyes burning with joy. She shouted into the night, "This is not death, this is music." Her voice cracked, but carried truth. The sound of her words shook her people more than the guitar ever could. Ryan struck the final chord, a heavy crash that echoed long into the silence. The fire flickered, the night held still. Lyra stood panting, her claws pressed against the guitar. Her chest heaved with exhaustion, but her smile glowed brighter than the moon's. She looked at the crowd, her people staring wide-eyed. Her voice was steady. "This sound changed me, and it can change you too." The aliens did not move, their fear still heavy, but none of them could deny what they had seen. She was not broken. She was not cursed. She was alive, stronger than before. And the humans stood beside her, not as an enemy, but as something new. Ryan placed a hand on her shoulder gently. "You showed them?" he whispered. Lyra nodded. Her eyes shining with pride. "I showed myself," she said softly. "For all my life, I was taught to fear. But tonight, I found freedom." She raised the guitar high, her glowing figure blazing in the firelight. Her voice rang out clear. This is the song that changed everything. Her people listened in silence, for in that moment, they could no longer call it the death noise. They had witnessed life in its purest form. Ryan smiled, his heart swelling with hope. He knew this was only the beginning. One girl had broken the wall of fear, and through her, perhaps an entire people could learn to hear. The night closed around them, filled not with silence, but with the memory of music, laughter, and change. The alien girl who once hated hard rock had transformed. She no longer trembled in terror. She no longer whispered warnings. She now stood tall, her heart alive with rhythm. The sound she once called death had become her life, and the song they played together became the song that changed everything.